We are talking about delegated management when the responsible authorities delegate protected area management responsibility to other public or private entities. While the first often retain the control and coordination, the latter take over the operational management and decision-making at local or regional level. One of the most interesting examples of delegated management is delegation to companies, either for profit or not for profit. Government delegated management is the most common subtype of governance by government in Eastern Europe. In spite of the wide variety of arrangements and actors involved, delegation to companies is rather unusual. One interesting case of delegation to a non-profit company can be found in Slovenia. Logarska Dolina Landscape Park in Slovenia is an example of an initiative by local people who wanted to contribute actively to the conservation of their area, acknowledging the fact that their income is dependent on the natural and cultural values that should be protected.
Landscape Park Logar Valley was established in 1987 by community Muzeria. In 1982, the landowners here in the valley made a decision that they want to manage this landscape park because before there were no one who took care for the land, for the visitor management, and everywhere cars were parked in the valley, burned were everywhere.
The management of the Logarska Dolina Landscape Park is done by the Logarska Dolina non-profit company based on directions by the municipality. The company was established by local landowners and tourism business owners with the aim to manage the protected area by initiating sustainable development activities.
Before, the landowners just have agriculture here in the valley and forestry, and later with the establishing of this company they wants to deal also with tourism issues. Decision-making system in the landscape park or in our company is basically assembly of all landowners, 24 of them. Then we have a board of 5 biggest farmers here and hotelier who takes all decisions regarding yearly projects. And then we have a director who is daily working. And then we have also two employees who takes over the park.
The main resources for management come from entrance fees, tourism businesses, some businesses developed by the company, and projects, without any contribution from the municipality.
It's not a lot. We have this entrance fee from end of April to end of October each year. And of course for the special projects, communal and tourist infrastructure, we applied for the European funds and for national funds. 17 years ago we were thinking that should be useful for the landscape park to have our own cleaning system. All these farms are connected with the cleaning system and till now works quite good. Of course we have to find good language with the local and national political level, and we are now looking for the best solution how to improve rules working with the local and national level.
The Sechovlje Salina Nature Park is managed by Soline Co. Limited, a company which performs the public service of nature conservation. From the legal point of view, the company is private, which means it is independent in taking business decisions, but it has certain obligations to its owner, the state.
The government decided to delegate the management of this area to a commercial company which has a concession for harvesting the salt, and at the same time we also have the concession for management of the park. One part of the company is responsible for salt making and the other one for the management of the park.
The total yearly budget of the park is somewhere less than 1 million euros. with 15 to 20% coming from the state. According to the concession contract, the state has the responsibility to provide the money to cover the costs for the staff only.
The budget here is actually composed by three pillars. The first part is coming from the government. It is covering approximately 1/3 of the budget of the park. Then we are generating our own incomes by offering programs for visitors, and we have the entrance fees, and also we're getting some money by offering people to have their boats here. So this is the second component. And the third one comes from international or European Union funded projects and contribution from the company too, from the commercial part of the company.
Power is shared between the private company Soline and the Ministry of Environment, but the telecom company can have a significant influence as well. However, the latter can have only an indirect influence as an owner of the Soline Limited. The contract for management was signed directly between Soline and the Ministry of Environment.
All the key management decisions are discussed by the steering committee. In this committee, there are members of institutions that are responsible for protection of nature, for protection of cultural heritage, local communities, and experts, so mainly like scientists. So this is the basically the composition of the steering committee, and but at the end I have to admit that the key and the final word is always coming from the government and not entirely from the steering committee.
There are several specific and favorable conditions in the Sečovlje Salina Nature Park, such as the presence of a natural resource with an economic use that contributes to nature conservation, an expert protected area director, and a very good understanding of key people from the company. This makes it unique and challenging to replicate in other protected areas.
The main advantage of such an organization is that all decisions are made by landowners here, because they are living here and they know what they need in the future.
Having a commercial company as the management authority for a protected area definitely has some advantages.
The main problem is money for the bigger projects.
We can borrow some money if we need, for example, for participation for the projects, or we can get this money for infrastructure that is needed, and then we are giving this money slowly back in the next years.
The small company with a small budget, it's sometimes difficult to apply for big projects.
We can use the skills, for example, financial skills, or let's say business skills that the company has. We can also agree to work with the employees. Sometimes if something is needed, people that are working in the salt making process can help us.
Delegation to for-profit or non-profit companies could be a very successful type of governance by being self-sustainable and independent. But besides conservation skills, it requires some specific business skills like marketing, financial management, a pragmatic approach, and others.